When this big ass box arrived, Heather literally asked me, "What did you do now?" And then she was even more disappointed when I showed her this. Let's get into it.
So in this video, we are going to be turning our bagger into a Transcon. At least we'll be adding the top box. So you will need to remove your seat for this installation. And if you're running your bagger seat, you're probably not going to have a normal look. So you're going to have to buy a Transcontinental seat, even a low, medium, or high version to make this look normal. If you don't do that, it's going to look, the top box is going to sit a little high next to your bagger seat. So we have our seat right here. We're going to be removing that T30 bolt, lifting that up, and you'll see underneath there's going to be a heated element to unplug. I'll give you a little sneak peek there. There it is. Unplug that, and the strap that's coming through will go with the fender. Here's all your wiring. So on the right side here, this goes to the right box. These two cables go to the speaker, brake, and indicator. That's your heated seat coil. Middle one, you're not going to touch that. Not going to touch that either. And on the right side, you'll see there is the other side that goes to the saddlebag. The things I just grabbed, though, those are the Transcontinental top box plugs. So you're going to cut those zip ties and free this up because you're going to use that to wire in your top box. Yes, you're already pre-wired for the TC top box, if you can believe it. I'm going to show you real quick in the next segment. I have GS911. I thought I would be able to use this to hook up the top box brake light. I went through this test and it did not work, so I'm taking it to a dealer. So even though I have the top box installed now, GS911 probably will not work for you to get that top box working. Sorry. Here's the frame of the Transcontinental. You've got these 4 bolts here, which I'll show you how those go to later. We have some T50 bolts that are going to be screwing in here in order to mount the frame to your frame. The top box actually mounts to the OEM luggage carrier, which is pretty cool. So those 2 wires are now freed from that little loom there. Keep those plugs intact though, because you want to be able to put the zip ties back in there when we're done with this, which I'll show at the very end of the video. But those are your top box, TC top box wires for the brake light, the speaker, and the central luggage locking system. Grab a T40, unscrew both of these, and start the process of removing your saddlebags from both sides of the bike. You'll need to cut zip ties of those wires that are running from both sides in order to take the side bags off. You'll be left with this view. So the frame will have some unused, there's your thing to cut. So unhook that, yank that off, and then cut those 2 zip ties. And you'll have some holes on the side, which is where your frame is going to hook into. So you're going to put the T50 through those 2 blanks and then screw into the frame. Looks kind of weird, all naked like this. And there you go. I use Loctite on this. I do not know the torque spec. I don't have access to the service manual, but I torqued it down to when it deaded out, and then I turned it another 1/8 of a turn. Remove these from your frame. These are what you're going to be screwing in the top box luggage plate into. I Loctited those as well because I don't plan on taking them off anytime soon. Now your loom has to get into here. There's a hole right there. So you're going to feed that wire through that hole. But you can do it those by removing that little blank right there. So there are 2 little plugs in the bottom. You can push down on those 2. So those 2 little blank heads right there. Push down on those 2 with your finger from the top, and that will free that little plastic tray. So you can then, like that, put those wires into there, and then you can put it back into place and put those little 2 plastic plugs back in, just like that. Now on the bottom of this tray, you're going to have room to run some zip ties through the zip tie carrier holder things. So all the way back, get this all managed, zip tie everything back into those holes like what I'm showing there. And also underneath, there are some zip ties holders, which I will show soon-ish in this video. There they are. Right there. You got 2 of them you can hook into. Great, so now that you've got everything kind of cable managed, you should put your side luggage back on because you don't really need to access this portion anymore. So we're going to grab our side luggage, and tighten those things down. And put everything back together, get your cables all managed. And then I would test to make sure that all of your electronics work, brake lights, turn indicators, speakers, before you keep going with the install. So T40s in there are all tightened up and snugged. I think these were 19 Newton meters, if I remember correctly, but don't over tighten them. It's into plastic. So everything here is all managed, and now we're just going to keep that heated seat element out, put in some zip ties, and then reinstall the seat back into its old location. Beautiful. Look at that. Aren't I good at wiring? No, someone in Germany is. I didn't tighten these down yet because I wanted to make sure I give myself plenty of wiggle room when I go to install the actual top box itself. But everything up top is done now. Now you have a spouse to hold your top box in place. These are your mounting brackets. Those go into place underneath the carpet inside the top box. Then you can feed your T40s into those 4 holes. Those little silver pads are backed by rubber, so they're kind of a vibration resistant thing. T40s go in there, and then you're going to tighten those down. I use Loctite as well, just in case. And then you're going to then tighten. See, the zip ties are in place now. Zip ties go on. So everything basically is nice and pretty. Cables coming back, your seat's back installed. I'm going to show you as well when we get to the front of the seat. You can still access that T30 that's holding the seat in if you need to remove it in order to do your final drive maintenance without removing the top box. Last thing, put in the little carpet that they give you that keeps all that nice and secure. I might install some 3M tape in there to keep it secure, but it just falls in there for now into place. Looks like there was some tape there at one point, not sure. The way you close this up is you just close it down. It is spring loaded or pump loaded, air loaded. Make sure it's snug, and then push that button closed to get it to close right up. By default, it does work with the central locking luggage system without any coding, but you will not have the stereo or the brake light without going to your BMW dealer to have them reflash it, which will be another part of this journey completely. So as you can see there, I'm actuating the brake light with my foot, and it's not lighting up. So not going to work by default, but we'll have to figure that out with software later. And if you look down the little cubby, you'll see that seat bolt is still there. Yeah, this is me showing off the luggage lock. So that's it for this section of the video. I'm going to show you guys the after product now, and you'll be able to do this for yourself. I'm not going to give you parts below. It's a lot of parts, but if you go over this journey, it's worth it. It's worth it. Let's look at the final product now. Okay, this build is not finished yet, so I'm just giving you the short update. I still have some stuff happening, but it's all going to be piecemeal because of COVID and stuff, pandemic supply issues. But today you can see the top box is on. So it's Transcontinental seat and Transcontinental top box on a Bagger. How do you know it's a Bagger? Well, the few things. The passenger floorboards are Bagger sized. They're not as large as the floorboards or foot pegs for the Transcontinental. Also, you know it's a Bagger because this is not silver. This is black. This is silver on the TC. And also on the TC, this entire dashboard is silver. So instead of piano black, you get a gray silver color for that. It's also not a TC because you don't have the winglets down here, nor do you have the 2 lower auxiliary lights. What else does Transcontinental have? Oh, Transcontinental also has engine guards. So it doesn't have that either. But now we are, and also this is not a TC windscreen. This is an aftermarket windscreen, but it is TC sized. The Transcontinental windscreen was $650, whereas this was $200. Seat was $650. Well, no, $599. Top box, it'd be too expensive to do yourself. We're talking about $2,000 worth of parts to make a top box work, unless you find someone like I did, who has a TC and wants to convert to a Bagger, and they trade you. So I bought this top box, including speakers, seat, the key, which I ended up not needing. If you go in here,
He also sold me the felt lining in here and the frame to mount it in there, and all the bolts and everything. All that was $500. So I think it's a pretty good deal. So you're getting enough to put. So this is what I wanted is when I go to a concert, I'm going to put my helmet in here. That's the main reason I got this thing. I have no way to store my helmet on the bike without someone stealing it, because the helmet will not fit in here. These side boxes are very small. Very small. So now I can put a helmet in here when I go to concerts or hotel or whatever, motel for the night. But you also see there's some depth here too. So you don't just have this height, you also have some height up in here as well. So speakers are taking up a bit of this row space on both sides. But it also comes with a brake light. You gotta make sure this is really closed down. And then by default, it actually works with the locking system, which is really, really nice. Which is great. Nice little feature without coding it in. I have to go to BMW dealer because I have to turn on the brake light, which doesn't work. And I also have to turn on the speakers, which do not work. But you can see down here, there's the screw to remove the seat. This is the Transcontinental Comfort Seat High, 760 millimeters seat height. With heat for both the driver and the pillion. What is going on there? That's just some wax I forgot to clean. Oops. So you see the pillion has their own seat heater right there, which was not on the Bagger. So there's still more to come, but nothing as striking as that in the top box. I think if you look at it from here, you definitely get the old man vibes. If you go from here. All in all, though, once I add all of my accessories, it still would have been cheaper to get a TC. But, oh well, my mistake. Thanks for watching, everyone. And when I go to sell this thing, I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'm going to sell, the VIN is going to say it's a Bagger, but they'll be getting a TC. So, but yeah, you can see here, this is super soft. The speaker's there. Very, very soft. So, super nice setup. All right, guys, thanks for watching.